Hi, I want to personally welcome you to Shade's Inspiration Corner. My name is Shade, and I am so delighted that you have taken the time to join me today for inspiration. I love to be inspired just like everybody else, so I look for inspiration in everything and anything daily. The mission for this podcast is to inspire people to live and enjoy life no matter what the circumstances are in their lives or what they may be going through. So join me to get your dose of inspiration. You never know, it may change your life. John chapter 13, verse 1. It was just before the Passover festival. Jesus knew that the hour had come for him to leave this world and go to the Father. Having loved his own who were in the world, he loved them to the end. The evening meal was in progress, and the devil had already prompted Judas, the son of Simon Iscariot, to betray Jesus. Jesus knew that the Father had put all things under his power, and that he had come from God and was returning to God. So he got up from the meal, took off his outer clothing, and wrapped a towel around his waist. After that, he poured water into a basin and began to wash his disciples' feet, drying them with the towel that was wrapped around him. He came to Simon Peter and said to him, Lord, he came to Simon Peter, who said to him, Lord, are you going to wash my feet? Jesus replied, You do not realize now what I am doing, but later you will understand. No, said Peter, you shall never wash my feet. Jesus answered, Unless I wash your feet, you have no part with me. Then Lord, Simon Peter replied, Not just my feet, but my hands and my head as well. Jesus answered, Those who have had a bath need only to wash their feet. Their whole body is clean. And you are clean, though not every one of you. For he knew who was going to betray him, and that was why he said, Not everyone was clean. When he had finished washing their feet, he put on his clothes and returned to his place. Do you understand what I have just done for you? He replied. Or he asked them, You called me teacher and Lord, and rightly so, for that is what I am. Now that I, your Lord and teacher, have washed your feet, you also should wash one another's feet. I have set you as an example that you should do as I have done for you. Verily, truly, I tell you, no servant is greater than his master, nor is a messenger greater than the one who sent him. Now that you know these things, you will be blessed if you do them. I want to stay focused more on the portion where Jesus washed the feet of the disciples. He washed their feet not only to demonstrate that as a leader is the servant of all. Not only to demonstrate that, but also to demonstrate the power of humility. I like Simon Peter. He is so funny. He's like, Lord, you cannot wash my feet. How can my teacher, my master, wash my feet? But when Jesus said he couldn't be a part of him if he did not wash his feet, if he wanted to remain rebellious, because that would be some type of rebellion if he didn't wash his feet. But he decided to say, Lord, not just my feet, but wash all my body as well. All of my body, all that I am. But I am just so fascinated by this story. When you find the true meaning of humility, it means a state of being humble according to Merriam-Webster's dictionary. Both it and humble have the origin in the Latin word humilus, meaning low. Jesus brought himself so low to wash the feet of his disciples. And if I understand correctly, back in the day when Jesus was around, they didn't have cars, they didn't have bikes, they didn't have, they had donkeys. That's all they had. Donkeys. They didn't have anything else. So their feet probably was very dusty and muddy, and from all the walking and going from place to place to preach the gospel. But yet Jesus, before he ate his meal, humbled himself, took his clothes off, and washed the feet of every single disciple, including the one that he knew was going to betray him. So my friends, my question to you this morning would be, if you knew someone was going to betray you, would you still remain humble to even wash that person's feet? Jesus, in the last verse of this chapter, John chapter 13, he said, "You call me teacher and Lord, and rightly so, for that is what I am. Now that I am your Lord and your teacher, I have washed your feet. You also wash one another's feet." Are you able to humble yourself and bring yourself that low to wash other people's feet, to get down and dirty, to make other people clean? Are you able to humble yourself before those that God has placed as authority before you? Are you able to humble yourselves before your father or your mother? Are you able to humble yourself before your peers? Are you able to humble yourself before your teachers? Are you able to humble yourself before authority? Humility is a state of coming low. Sometimes when we are in the mode of trying to achieve or trying to get ahead, in this case, Judas was trying to make some extra money, and because of the extra money he was trying to make, he betrayed Jesus, and he, just for a little bit of money at the time, betrayed Jesus and committed him to life, to death on the cross, even though it was already pre-written. But out of greed and selfishness, he committed Jesus to death. So my friends, I want to ask you, what would you do if you are asked to be humble? Would you be able to humble yourself and wash the feet of others? Jesus has rightly commanded us that we should do the same thing he did to other people. The harvest, my friends, is plenty, but the laborers are few. A lot of us feel very inadequate when it comes to supporting and encouraging one another, or bringing ourselves low to the level of other people that need our help. Sometimes we feel so inadequate, but I want to encourage you that even in the midst of your inadequacy, that you can still go ahead and you can still have make a difference in the lives of those that are around you, one person at a time. Even in the midst of your inadequacies, in the midst of not knowing, in the midst of not being encouraged, you can still encourage another. Jesus knew exactly what was going to happen to him after the Passover. He knew he was going to be committed to death on the cross, yet he still went about doing good. Yet he still loved the person that betrayed him. Yet he still washed the feet of the disciple. Yet he still remained humbled. Yet he still shared a meal with his disciples. He was not frantic. He was not anxious. But at a point when he was asking his disciples, friends, to pray with him, but they fell asleep, he was discouraged. He was crying, but he was also praying to the Father, not my will, but your will be done. So, my friends, today I just want to come and encourage you that sometimes humility leads to life. You cannot continue to go around life with your shoulders up all the time. Sometimes we have to bring ourselves low. Sometimes we have to meet people where they are. Sometimes you have to observe, even though you may know more than others, you still may need to bring yourself to a place of humility. No matter how people perceive you, still humble yourself, because humility takes you a long way. So, my friends, think about that today, and I want to ask you a question that I want you to answer on the poll today. I want to hear from you. If you are in the midst of people that you know are not for you, what would you do? Would you continue to act with animosity, or would you remain humble? Would you go to a place of humility and be respectful and be loving to those people, just like Jesus did with Judas? Would you be humble? Tell me, what would you do if you had a friend that you know was about to betray you? Like Jesus knew that Judas was about to betray him, but yet he washed his feet. What would you do? I want to hear from you. What would you do? Send me a voice note, because I might put your voice note in the next episode that we do. Send me a voice note. Tell me examples of areas that you have found yourself having to humble yourself. I look forward to hearing from you. And thank you again for joining me today on Shade's Inspiration Corner Thursday. Shalom. If you have been touched by this message and ask Shade, how can I glean from God's strength? The first thing God wants you to do is to be born again.
I want you to say, Jesus, I know that I am a sinner, but I believe that you died for my sins. I want to know you personally in my life and glean my strength from you. So I ask you to come into my life today and make me a brand new person. If you have confessed that, I want you to find a Bible-based church and join other believers, and it shall be well with you.
Take a moment to stop by our website at shadaysinspirationcorner.com, www.shadaysinspirationcorner.com, and sign up for our newsletter to get information and updates on what's happening here at Shaday's Inspiration Corner. If our podcast has been a blessing to you, take a moment, share with somebody, like it, leave me a comment, and let me know how you have been blessed by the podcast. You can swing over also to my Instagram page at Shaday's Inspiration Corner, or you can also go to my Facebook page, Shaday's Inspiration Corner. I look forward to hearing back from you. Share, like, and let the word go round. Get somebody inspired. You never know who you can inspire with a word or who may be needing the word for the day. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to sign up for our podcast, share, like us, or send us a feedback. We want to hear from you. Make it a great day.